FAU fans, welcome back to the fifth quarter FAU film room. I'm your host, Kevin Fielder. I'm joined once again by another FAU 2021 commit, Zuberi Mobley. Zuberi is a running back for Miami Northwestern. Zuberi, how you doing today?
Fine, I'm fine. You?
Doing great. Can't complain. Obviously, I want to begin by talking about your FAU commitment. What stood out about FAU during the process, and what helped you choose to commit to FAU?
Speaking to Coach Perkins and the head coach, that would help me out with the process and going to visit the school. And I like the facility too. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Obviously, FAU has produced a lot of running backs in the past. Alfred Morris stands out. Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
How much of an impact did that have during the process, knowing that FAU has had a history of producing running backs who have gone on to bigger things, gone on to the NFL, gone to be consistent players in the NFL?
Coach Perk mentioned that to me too. And whether you know it or not, Singletary is a good running back in the NFL. So you know, if FAU could pull that off, that will help me out with wanting to be in the school and be a student athlete there.
Obviously, from my understanding, you are intending to graduate early and obviously skip a year of high school. How important was it for you to make sure that your grades were in check so that that was a possibility in the future?
It's very important because without the grades, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I had to get that down packed.
Obviously, you moved from New York to Miami to last season, and you played Miami high school football last season. How many differences did you see in kind of the differences in the game between New York and Miami?
Um, I'll say New York is a little bit as far as like the game speed is slower. Miami is more faster. So that's what I'll say. That's the difference, football wise.
All right, let's hop into these tapes, and obviously, the first thing that stood out when I was looking at your film was your ability to. I don't know why that's there. Okay, um, there we go. So the first thing was you were really athletic, and you were able to make guys miss in a lot of different ways, and
Yeah.
one of them. It's actually like the first tape on your highlight film, and you make this guy. You put this guy in a spin cycle. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
It was like a Madden move. Uh, how important has it been for you to develop your ball carrier moves to make sure that in the future, even if you're not the tallest or even the most athletic, you're able to make guys miss in different ways?
Well, I know. I mean, playing football, you're gonna get injured and stuff like that. So I just added more to my game to make sure I go out there and perform. That's
So
about it.
when you see this situation right here, and you've got this defensive end who just got free off the line, and he's going to tackle, you're going to lose 3 or 4 yards. So what's going through your head, and how do you make that decision to try to make the guy miss with the spin move?
Well, I know during that play, I knew like as you can see on the right side, no, it was like nowhere for me to go. So I knew I had to make a move, and the only thing was on my mind was a spin move. To be honest, so I just had to make the timing perfect, and I just did it.
And obviously after that, it was easy enough, and you turned what should have been a 3 or 4 yard loss into, I mean, pretty much a first. It was a first down, and it's really important at the next level. So I want to jump into the next thing, and that's your vision. You see the field really well, and it probably helped having a pretty good offensive line last year with Miami Northwestern. But so on this play, honestly, I don't think many running backs would actually figure this out, and you kind of see this hole open up immediately. In this situation right here, what are you looking at? What are you seeing? And, when are you making that decision to hit the hole?
When we played this team, I knew that the hole it's collapsed fast, so I realized I had to go faster, and the timing was just perfect. I did what I had to do and just had a perfect time to get to the second level and make a move.
Obviously, one of the most important things with running backs is being able to frame their body in a proper way to make sure that, they're not just hitting the hole, but they're hitting it properly. They're not running into their own offensive lineman.
Exactly.
How have you learned how to frame your body in the perfect way to kind of make sure that you maximize the amount of yards you can gain, and even if it's just going to be a 5 or 6 yard gain, as opposed to it being maybe like a 2 yard gain?
I mean, certain holes develop differently, so making sure your body is flexible to go in different holes, that's very important, and that's what I've been able to do over the past few years, and I just I'm still working on it, and I'm just perfecting my craft at this point.
I want to go into this next play, and this was honestly probably my favorite play from your whole tape. And this, you just went crazy on this play. You went. It reminded me a lot of that Marshawn Lynch run from a few years ago, where he broke 3 or 4 guys, and
Yeah,
was carrying half the team on his back into the end zone. And you kind of do similar here. Obviously, you're not the tallest running back in the world. You're not going to be, able to just run over people or run around people. So in this case, you just kind of carry a few guys on you. You kind of make a few guys miss. What was going through your head on this play where you were kind of like, you know what, I'm going to have to make a play here. So let's just run around people, and let's have some fun out here.
I mean, definitely, because I got the two plays before that. I didn't, I wish I would have scored, but it didn't happen. So this play, I knew I had to score. And as you can see, I was falling off balance when I first got the ball. I put my hand to the ground to keep me balanced, and I knew I had to score after that.
What was the reaction like from your teammates and your coaches? They just saw a guy run over 3 or 4 people on the way to the end zone.
I mean, they was happy. I mean, they just told me to keep up the good work. They loved it.
And how do you maintain that focus to kind of make sure that you're constantly moving, your feet are constantly moving, and you don't just go down on first contact, and you don't just go down on that first play, but you kind of make sure that later in the play you're able to still make guys miss.
Exactly. I mean, I have to keep my foot moving. If I don't, then I get tackled. And I just managed to do that throughout the game. And I know if I get to the second or third level, I'm dangerous. So that's my goal when I'm on the field.
I want to go on to that balance a little bit. And obviously on this play, it's a little different. You're not lined up in the backfield. You're lined up at the top of the screen as a wide receiver. How many times how comfortable are you doing that? And how important was it for you to add that to your game so you're not just playing exclusively in the backfield?
I mean, when I first tried it, I really wasn't feeling it too much. But as I've gotten used to it throughout the season, I started to like it, and getting reverses. I'm starting to eventually catch the ball on the field and just make plays. But I like it, so I love it.
And so obviously this was one of those plays where you kind of have that balance. You're kind of able to stay on your feet, and a lot of guys I think would go down after they get hit after this first tackle, and you're able to kind of stay on your feet. How important has it been for you to maintain your balance, and how have you worked on your balance to make sure that it's up to par and it's up to standards? Because obviously, Miami, South Florida football is a kind of cutthroat in that way, and that if you're not ready, you're gonna sink, not swim.
Exactly. I mean, I just practice. When it comes to balance, I work on my abs. On the off season, I do what I got to do. So when I get on the field, it could be no problem for me. So when I made that hit, I knew I was gonna be on my feet. It's just it was perfect. It was just perfect timing, and I just had balance, and all that force went into the defender, and I just made something happen after that.
There's a lot of aggressiveness in your game, and it's kind of shocking when people maybe first look at your listed height, your listed weight, and then they see your plays, and you have a lot of aggressiveness. You have a lot of plays where you kind of throw your shoulder into people. How important has it, or what kind of stems? Where does that aggressiveness stem from, and your ability to make guys miss, even if you have to run over them, down around them?
I mean, I just try to add more. I just try to add more to my game. I always been shifty all my life, but it comes with. I realized it came with injuries, so I knew I had to, take the hit or get it, and I'm starting to get it. You know what I mean? In some situations, I learned how to use both, and make it a threat.
I want to go into one final play here, and this was one of those plays where we see that speed, we see that shiftiness to your game, and I don't know if you remember this play, but you kind of just ran past everyone. You were kind of just the fastest guy on the field, and you kind of knew it. Obviously, you do get good blocks from your offensive line, excuse me, but you're kind of able to outrun everyone else. How fast do you think you could be if like you ran a 40-yard dash time right now with full preparation?
4.3 high, 4.3 or 4.3 high, or a 4.3 low. But I'll be able to run 4.3. I think, in my opinion.
Obviously, you kind of shoot out of a cannon immediately, and it's not really you trying to become a power back. It's you just kind of shooting out of a cannon and you trying to be the fastest guy in the field the whole time. How important has it been for you to kind of work on your short explosiveness, so where you're able to shoot out of the cannon, you're able to gain the yards, the max yards at the line of scrimmage, and then after that it's just your speed against everyone else's speed, and I assume you're comfortable enough to try to outrun anyone.
Definitely. I mean, when I first jumped in high school, my coach mentioned track. Shout out to South Shore, and I did track, and that helped me out as far as speed wise. Anything I do on the field that involves speed, you know.
And then I kind of want to go a little further down on this play right here. You kind of just stick your foot out wide near the sideline, and you outrun this guy as well. And he looked like he had a pretty good angle on you.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you saw that guy right there with, what looked like a decent enough angle to make that tackle?
I mean, usually a defender make his move, but I realized he didn't know which way I was going, and I knew from then on I had to make a move. Either move I would have made, left or right, I'm pretty sure I would have scored. So, I just had the defender still, and once you have the defender still, you can make any move, in my opinion.
What kind of running backs have you tried to model your game around? Even whether they're college running backs or NFL running backs, what running backs have you tried to take even bits and pieces of their game to kind of put into your game and make sure that you're as complete as you can be as a running back?
I like Adrian Peterson, LT from the Chargers. I love LeSean McCoy. What else? Christian McCaffrey's and Derrick Henry's. That's about it.
And obviously, you transferred last during the offseason to Miami Northwestern. How excited are you to play for a Miami Northwestern team that look primed to compete again for the state championship? And they've won, I believe, 3 in a row now, and they've got a ton of Division I talent. How excited are you to play with all that talent on offense, defense, and just everything about that team is complete?
I'm very excited. I'm ready to get on the field, show my skills, be a student athlete, and just keep it going.
Zuberi, thank you for coming on. Obviously, this has been Fifth Quarter FAU Film Room. I'm your host, Kevin Fielder. You can follow me on Twitter at the Kevin Fielder. You can follow FQFAU on Twitter at FQFAU. Zuberi, what's your Twitter?
On my Twitter, Zuberi Mobley, at Zuberi Mobley.
Zuberi, thank you for coming on, and go Owls in the future.
Go Owls.